Just a few days ago, two men came into my clinic within the same afternoon. Coincidentally, both were 70 years old, yet the difference between them was impossible to ignore. The first gentleman stepped inside cautiously, reaching for the wall to steady himself before making his way to the chair. He lowered himself down carefully and let out a quiet sigh before saying, "Dr. Leah, I guess this is just what happens when you get older." Later that day, another 70-year-old walked through the same door with an entirely different presence. His posture was upright, his handshake was strong, and there was confidence in every movement. After taking his seat, he smiled and said, "Dr. Leah, I feel like I've still got plenty of life ahead of me." They shared the same age, but they were living two completely different realities. The gap between them wasn't created by luck or exceptional genetics. It came from a handful of everyday abilities that one man had continued to protect, while the other had slowly allowed to fade away over the years. If you can still perform these 7 abilities, you're doing much more than simply growing older. You're showing that your body and mind still possess the strength, resilience, and independence that many people assume disappear after retirement age. For the past 15 years, I've worked closely with older men, and one lesson has become clearer with every passing year. Age itself is rarely the true problem. What weakens most men is abandoning the habits that keep them capable. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 important markers that reveal how well you're truly aging. As we go through each one, answer honestly. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about discovering what you're doing well and identifying what you can still rebuild before it's too late. Let's begin with the very first marker, one that tells you more about your future than many expensive medical tests ever could. Dr. Leah calls it the floor rise test. Here's the challenge. Sit down on the floor, then stand back up without grabbing a chair, pushing off with your hands, or using nearby furniture for support. Rely only on your legs, your balance, and your core strength. If you can do that smoothly and confidently, you're already performing better than a large percentage of men in their 70s. It may seem like a simple movement, but it demands several body systems working together at once. Your hips need to stay flexible. Your leg muscles must generate enough power. Your core has to stabilize your body, and your balance must keep everything under control. When all those pieces function together, they reveal something incredibly valuable: your body's ability to remain independent. Several long-term health studies have shown that older adults who can rise from the floor without assistance often enjoy better mobility, fewer serious falls, and a greater chance of maintaining an active lifestyle for many years. That's because this single movement reflects your overall functional fitness, not just raw muscle strength. Throughout my 15 years of caring for older adults, I've found this simple test to be one of the clearest indicators of how well someone is truly aging. Blood tests reveal what's happening inside your body, but movements like this reveal what your body is still capable of doing every single day. If you struggled with the test, don't be discouraged. Think of it as valuable feedback rather than bad news. Begin spending a few minutes each day sitting on the floor before standing back up again. At first, use support if necessary, but gradually challenge yourself to rely less on your hands. Your body has an incredible ability to relearn movements when you practice them consistently. Every successful repetition strengthens not only your muscles, but also your confidence, making everyday activities easier and helping you preserve your independence for years to come. Now let's move to the second marker, something that almost every man takes for granted until one day it becomes difficult. Dr. Leah calls this the 30-minute walking test. Ask yourself one honest question. Can you walk continuously for 30 minutes without your knees, hips, or lower back forcing you to stop? I'm not talking about jogging or climbing steep hills, just a steady, comfortable walk without needing frequent breaks because of pain, stiffness, or exhaustion. If your answer is yes, that's an excellent sign. It means your heart, lungs, muscles, and joints are still working together efficiently. Walking is far more than a form of exercise. It's one of the clearest indicators that your body is prepared for everyday life. It determines whether you can travel, enjoy time with family, shop without assistance, or simply remain independent. During my 15 years in clinical practice, I've met countless men who made the same mistake. They noticed a little soreness in their knees or hips, so they decided to stop walking altogether. They believed resting would solve the problem. Instead, the opposite happened. Their muscles weakened, their joints became stiffer, and simple walks around the neighborhood eventually felt impossible. I've also seen men who kept moving despite mild discomfort, gradually rebuilding their strength and confidence. Their bodies adapted because the human body is designed to respond to regular movement. When you stop moving, your body begins believing it no longer needs the strength it once had. If walking for half an hour feels overwhelming today, don't let that discourage you. Start with whatever feels comfortable, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes. Add a few extra minutes each week and stay consistent. Progress doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Every step you take is an investment in your heart, your joints, and your future independence. The men who continue walking are often the men who continue enjoying life on their own terms well into their later years. The third marker may surprise you because it has nothing to do with muscles or endurance, yet in my experience, it is one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging. Dr. Leah calls it the purpose test. When you wake up in the morning, is there something that genuinely excites you? It doesn't have to be a major life goal. It could be finishing a project, learning a new skill, visiting someone you care about, tending a garden, or even planning a short trip. The important question is this: do you still have something that pulls you forward? Over the last 15 years, I've noticed a heartbreaking pattern among many older men. Those who lose their sense of purpose often begin declining much faster than those who stay mentally engaged. Their energy fades, they become less active, they withdraw from friends and family, and before long, their physical health begins to suffer as well. Science continues to support what I've witnessed firsthand. A strong sense of purpose is linked to lower stress levels, better heart health, stronger immunity, and even improved cognitive function. When your mind believes there's still something worth living for, your body often responds by becoming stronger and more resilient. On the other hand, when every day feels identical and nothing seems worth looking forward to, it's easy to slip into unhealthy routines without even realizing it. The body follows where the mind leads. If you're struggling to find motivation, don't pressure yourself to discover one grand mission overnight. Begin with one meaningful goal. Read a book you've always wanted to finish. Call an old friend. Learn a hobby you've postponed for years. Volunteer in your community. Give yourself a reason to get out of bed tomorrow. Purpose isn't something a lucky few are born with. It's something you build, protect, and renew throughout life. The men who continue searching for new reasons to live fully are often the ones who continue thriving, regardless of the number of candles on their birthday cake. Now let's talk about the fourth marker, one that many people overlook even though it can reveal a great deal about your overall health. Dr. Leah calls this the grip strength test. Think about your daily routine. Can you carry 2 heavy grocery bags from the car into your home without your hands giving out, your shoulders aching, or your back forcing you to stop halfway? If you can, that's a strong indication that your body is still capable of handling the physical demands of everyday life. It may sound simple, but your grip is connected to much more than your hands. It reflects the strength of your forearms, shoulders, upper back, and nervous system. Researchers have repeatedly found that men with stronger grip strength often maintain better mobility, sharper thinking, and greater independence as they age. In fact, some long-term studies suggest that grip strength can predict future health more accurately than several common medical measurements. During my 15 years of working with older adults, I've seen this pattern play out again and again. The men with strong hands are usually the ones who continue driving themselves, maintaining their homes, lifting their grandchildren, and helping others instead of constantly depending on someone else for assistance. Your hands tell a story that many people never think about. They quietly reveal whether your muscles are staying active, whether your nervous system is functioning well, and whether your body is holding on to the strength that supports independence. If you've noticed your grip becoming weaker, don't assume it's simply because you're getting older. Grip strength responds remarkably well to consistent training. Spend just a few minutes each day squeezing a stress ball, using a hand gripper, or even gripping a rolled towel as tightly as you can. These small exercises may seem insignificant, but over time they can produce meaningful improvements, helping you preserve the strength you'll rely on for years to come. The fifth marker has nothing to do with physical strength, yet it may be one of the most important signs that your body is aging well. Dr. Leah calls it the memory test. Here's a simple question. Can you remember the name of someone you met a week ago? Not your neighbor or a lifelong friend, but someone you were introduced to recently. Can you picture their face and recall their name without anyone reminding you? If you can, that's a positive sign that your brain is continuing to form and retrieve new memories effectively. It shows that the parts of your brain responsible for learning and recall are still active and healthy. Far too many men believe occasional forgetfulness is simply something they must accept after turning 70. While certain changes can occur with age, persistent mental fog should never be dismissed as just getting older. In many cases, it's your brain asking for better care. Over the past 15 years, I've watched men regain mental sharpness they thought had disappeared forever. The difference wasn't a miracle drug or an expensive treatment. Instead, they improved the habits that nourish the brain. They became more physically active, slept more consistently, challenged themselves to learn new things, and stayed socially connected instead of isolating themselves. The brain works much like the rest of your body. The more you use it, the stronger and more adaptable it becomes. Read books that challenge your thinking. Learn a new hobby. Practice remembering names instead of immediately reaching for your phone. Engage in meaningful conversations that stimulate your mind. Your brain was designed to keep learning throughout life. The men who continue exercising both their bodies and their minds often remain mentally sharp well into their later years. Never assume your best thinking is behind you. With the right habits, your mind can continue growing stronger for many years to come. The sixth marker isn't about how much weight you can lift or how fast you can walk. Instead, it measures something even more valuable as you grow older. Dr. Leah calls it the composure test. Ask yourself this. When someone disagrees with you, criticizes you, or says something that hurts your feelings, how do you respond? Do you immediately lose your temper? Do you shut down and refuse to talk? Or can you remain calm, listen carefully, and respond with self-control? Many people assume emotional strength comes naturally with age, but that's not always true. During my 15 years of working with older adults, I've met countless men carrying decades of unspoken anger, disappointment, and grief. They believed hiding their emotions made them strong, when in reality, that emotional burden was affecting both their minds and their bodies. Long-term stress doesn't simply disappear because you ignore it. It can interfere with sleep, raise blood pressure, place extra strain on the heart, and make it harder to think clearly. Over time, those effects begin showing up in everyday life. I've had patients arrive complaining of constant fatigue, chest discomfort, or stubborn insomnia. After careful conversations, it became clear that the biggest issue wasn't always physical illness. In many cases, they had spent years holding on to emotional pain they had never dealt with. The strongest men I've known aren't the ones who never experience difficult emotions. They're the ones who can face uncomfortable conversations without becoming defensive or losing control. They listen before reacting, think before speaking, and handle conflict with patience rather than anger. If this is an area where you struggle, begin with one simple habit. The next time you feel yourself becoming upset, pause before responding. Take a slow breath in for 5 seconds, then breathe out for 5 seconds. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but that brief pause gives your brain time to regain control. Emotional composure isn't a gift you're born with. Like every other ability we've discussed today, it's a skill that grows stronger every time you practice it. Now we've reached the seventh and final marker, and in many ways, it brings together everything we've discussed today. Dr. Leah calls it the presence test. Here's the question I want you to think about. When you walk into a room, do people feel better because you're there? Do your children, grandchildren, neighbors, or friends leave your company feeling encouraged, calmer, or more hopeful than they did before you arrived? This has very little to do with being loud, funny, or the center of attention. It's about the energy you bring into other people's lives. Men who age well often develop a quiet confidence that makes others feel safe, respected, and valued. They listen more than they interrupt. They offer wisdom without trying to control every conversation. Their presence becomes a source of strength for those around them. During my 15 years in practice, I've noticed that the healthiest older men usually have something in common. They remain connected to people. They continue mentoring younger generations, supporting their families, volunteering in their communities, or simply being someone others can depend on. Those meaningful relationships don't just benefit the people around them. They also protect their own emotional and physical health. Research consistently shows that strong social connections are linked to longer lives, better brain function, lower stress, and a reduced risk of depression. Human beings are not designed to live in isolation. We thrive when we stay connected and continue contributing to the lives of others. So, how many of these 7 markers could you honestly say you still have? 4, 5, maybe all 7. Wherever you stand today, remember this. These markers are not permanent labels. They're checkpoints. They reveal where you are today, not where you'll be tomorrow. The greatest mistake a man can make is believing that age has already decided his future. It hasn't. Your daily choices still matter. Every walk you take, every healthy meal you eat, every conversation you have, every exercise you complete, and every new goal you pursue is shaping the man you'll become in the years ahead. If there's one message I hope you remember, it's this. Growing older is inevitable, but growing weaker is not. Protect these 7 abilities, strengthen the ones you've neglected, and you'll give yourself the best chance to enjoy a life filled with independence, purpose, and vitality for many years to come.